In July of 2011, I was diagnosed with liver failure due to NASH, which is a non-alcoholic cirrhosis, not caused by alcohol, but it's an interesting disease that's caused from fat cells building up in the liver. It's interesting that it's obese people as well as skinny people get this disease. But the only cure for this disease, once it goes into the cirrhotic part, the cirrhosis part, is for you to have a liver transplant. So my health continued to deteriorate extremely quickly until July of 2012. And in July of 2012, I was speaking with my coordinator and found out that they didn't think that I was going to be able to get a transplant. They thought that they weren't going to come up with a match for me in time. And because I always ended all my conversations with her with, "You got to get me a liver," you know. And so she said, "I don't want to discourage you. You got to keep hanging in there." But she says it's not looking like we're going to find one in the next short while. And so I remember hanging up the phone with her that very day. I hung up the phone with her, and I sat in my chair at home, and I wasn't in a really great mood, wasn't in a really bad mood. It was just kind of melancholy. I was just like, Lord, you've brought me this far. You've provided all these wonderful things. And are we going to stay? This is where it's going to end. And I really felt like I was down to weeks at that point in my life. And it was really weird because about an hour after I talked to her, my phone rings, and it's my wife. And she says, "Don't do anything. Don't get in the shower. Don't do anything. I'm on my way. I'm about a mile from the house. I just got a call from the hospital. We have to be there in 2 hours." And so they think they have a match. So we jumped in, and of course we have 4 kids that are teenagers, and we had to get all of them together, and we left for St. Louis on July 30th for Barnes Jewish Hospital. And we were able to get there and get in, and I was a match for this particular liver, and surgery was done on July 31st and was successfully transplanted. Did have a few hiccups, had a second surgery on August the 2nd because we had a bile leak, and so we had to go in and fix that. Basically had to be reopened all the way up, and everything kind of cleaned up in there and repaired, and then put back together again. So I guess it was quite an ordeal. Surgeons got to do the job twice, I guess. I was operated on for over 8 hours, and the first time, and about 4 hours the second time. It was a good thing to receive that liver, and it's an amazing gift that someone can give. I'm an organ donor. I have written a letter that I'm going to be delivering to the donor family through the transplant coordination group because they don't let us see each other unless both parties are want to do that, because some folks don't want to do that. But it's just amazing that I have a second chance at life now. I was 48 years old and didn't look like I was going to be here to see 49. And not only am I here, but every day I'm getting stronger. And I'm able to do so much more, and my strength is coming back. And the Lord has just really blessed us. And I can't say enough good things about the gifts that people gave us, the meals that were prepared for my family, the radio station doing a 5K run, just all kinds of things that have happened along the way to help us to get through. But most of all, it cannot happen unless people, excuse me, Max.
Yeah, that's all right.
I get this way.
Yeah.
I was praying I wasn't going to get this way. It can't happen unless people are willing to become donors. I'm not an expert on numbers, but About 110,000 to 112,000 people in the United States are waiting for transplants. And 18 to 20 people die every day waiting for transplants.
Okay. Do you know where your donor is from? Or?
No, I do not know where my donor is from, other than fairly certain it's Midwestern. I was because of the hospital being. There's only so much time that an organ is viable, and so they fly them into the hospitals, and then the hospitals have to do testing to make sure that the organ is viable and that it passes the tests and things, doesn't have cancer and doesn't have anything else like that in it, any bloodborne diseases of any kind and that kind of thing. So they do that, and then as soon as the testing, in fact, before the test results are completely back, they call the candidates in. And normally 2 candidates go. And one candidate does what we call a dry run, or what I call a dry run, where you go in and you never get the liver or you never get the organ that night. It's some future time, hopefully, because you're not a perfect match. In my case, Max, it's an amazing story, because in my case, not only was I a perfect match, the way they match it, of course, is the way they match it, to my understanding, let me say it that way, is that it's blood type and it's plumbing, if you will. It has to do with how the arteries and veins and things like that are set up on the liver, because everybody's is a little different. And they have to make sure that they can make all the connections. And so, in my case, it was a perfect match. It was the perfect time. I know God had His hand in it. Absolutely positive that He did it. And I'll get to see my grandkids continue to grow up. I've got 6 already, and I've got several more, I think, in the future, so since I still have 4 kids in high school. Altogether, I'm a father of 7, and I have, a father of 8. We lost one child through miscarriage, but father of 8, and it has been a wonderful experience so far, and I'm looking forward to years and years of more life because of someone's gift. Personally, I've been an organ donor since I was 16 years old myself, because I always thought, gee, if I can't use them, why can't someone else benefit from them? And I don't know if that's a normal attitude or not. I do know, after being transplanted, I've read about all the myths and things that people have come up with. I mean, they're afraid they can't have an open casket funeral and things like that if they are organ donors, and that's not true. It's all done very respectable in every way, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the body of Christ to continue to help people and help them in a way that is so tangible, and it brings more than sorrow from the loss. It adds, there'll always be sorrow in a loss, but it adds the ability for them to say, gee, our loss has brought this good. Our loss has brought good in someone else's life. And although we'll miss our loved one, that person's loved ones will get to see them and continue to see them.